Welcome back to the Mountain Witch Tarot channel. I am your host, Sarah, and today we are going to do a big deep dive on several topics. Before we get started, if you take a minute and hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. And if you're new here and you enjoy political divination, feel free to hit the subscribe and stick around, become part of the community. Today, we're going to cover several topics. We are going to talk about some stuff that's currently going on, specifically involving if Trump will be removed under the 25th Amendment. Pritzker came out and demanded that Donald Trump be removed under the 25th Amendment. So that's kind of crazy. We are also going to talk about if the military is going to turn on Trump. Now, we have seen some footage released since yesterday where military leaders are really kind of roasting Trump publicly on television. Something else we're going to go over too is a threat that Donald Trump made yesterday. He told them that if they didn't like what he was saying, they could get up and leave. But if they did, they would be stripped of their title and position. So we're going to look at that because holy cow. And then finally, we're going to try to cram in a little bit more. This is going to be a long video, guys. We're going to take a look at who the designated survivor is, try to figure out, see if we can figure it out. Maybe we can, maybe we can't. And we're going to find out if there's a chance that the designated survivor may take over the rest of this term. So, gonna be a wild one. Strap in, guys. We're going to be here for a while. Let's get started. All right, folks. First thing we're going to start with, we're going to ask about the designated survivor. I have a theory on who I think it might be. Okay. I don't know if I should tell you, but we're going to see what the cards say. So I guess it's okay to go ahead and tell you who I think it is. I think it's MTG. I think it's Marge. That's one of the reasons I want to do this reading. So let's get some cards to describe who is the designated survivor. Because keep in mind, if anything happens to the whole bunch, the survivor takes over. And I swear, I think it's Marge. I don't know. We're going to see. I hope this is a court card, by the way. And actually, let me go ahead and switch screens here so you guys can see. Of course, this is crooked. Of course it is. Okay. So our first clue, the designated survivor, 3 of Wands. This is someone who wanted this job and rallied for this job. They really went to bat for themselves advocating for this position. Okay. Already kind of sounds like Marge. I'm not going to get hooked on it, though. I'm not going to get, All right. Someone who, I'm thinking subterfuge. I'm thinking theft. Oh, my gosh. Are we looking at a situation where we had multiple and then all of a sudden someone else took it? That's kind of what I'm getting from this all of a sudden. Let's see. Yeah, obviously it's someone who cannot talk about being the designated survivor. So that may not seem like a big clue, but honestly, that's a huge clue because I think that could ruin my theory that it's Marge. As we've seen from MTG in the past, she is not really capable of, keeping secrets. Do you guys remember that time she blurted out on C-SPAN a national intelligence secret about the balloon thing up in Alaska? She can't keep a secret. She can't keep a secret. So looking like it's not Marge. Ooh, I just had a card jump out. It was the Tower card. It's somebody who is not good. Not good. Someone who is probably prominent in government, though. I'm going to read that card as government right now for some reason. That's coming to mind, that they are someone who has a reputation in government. I wish we'd get a court card. That's what I'm really looking for. Someone who's Oh, what could that be? A falling out with Trump. Now that makes me think it is Marge. Come on, give us a court card. Male or female, high level or low level government. A lot of fighting. Whoever this person is, they are volatile, I think. Or there's someone who is aggressive and they don't care to be aggressive. Someone who has a bad reputation. And I really, truly think that this is someone who's had a falling out recently with Trump. So that's kind of interesting. How do we do this? I'm trying to think. Let's pull a few more cards to clarify some of these cards. I really, 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 really want to get a court card for male or female energy. And depending on the level of the court card, I think that'll give us an idea of, is this a male or female in Congress, Senate? Is this, someone completely off the wall? But this is kind of giving me the feeling that, yes, it is someone in government. Let's clarify the Seven of Swords and the Five of Swords. And card jumped out. The Wheel. I feel like this is someone that's been around for quite some time. They are not new to politics. This is someone who has been on the scene. I feel like it's someone that everybody knows. If you've been paying any attention at all to politics since 2016, I feel like this is a name someone knows. Still not getting a court card. This is wild. Wow, lots of wands, lots of swords. So this is definitely, you know what? I think this is someone who was a lawyer at some point, or practiced law. Someone who kind of getting the feeling with these cards over here, it's someone who's really burdened and weighed down right now by what's going on in the Trump administration. And I think that's where the feeling of the fallout is coming from. Like, this is kind of a big energy card right here for this reading. This is someone who's not on great terms with Trump, but I don't think it's as simple as that. I think it's a little bit more complicated. Let's get some cards to clarify the Tower. What does the Tower card and this person have in common? What is the connection? Ooh. Wow. That's kind of interesting. So the Five of Cups, that's kind of making me wonder if whoever this person is, they are sitting back watching the country implode, and they are not happy about it. But they've got to keep their mouth shut, obviously, when they really are wanting to. They're wanting to fight. They want to take this fight to the streets because it's someone who really does truly care about the country. I feel like if it wasn't, they wouldn't be having such a hard time watching everything go down the way that it is. But still, we're not getting any court cards. And I'm kind of dependent on a court card to tell us, is this a male politician, female politician? Is it someone who's not a politician at all? Which obviously if it's like a cups or a coins, maybe it's not. But I would say that wands or swords would definitely indicate politician. Coins, maybe. Coin, I think, or pentacles, I would say that more than likely that would indicate someone who is more along the lines of just like the legal branch. And cups, I would say, means that they're probably not in politics or like a politician. But this is someone everybody knows, someone who's been around quite a bit, and someone who's had a falling out with Trump. Oh, look what we've got. It is a male. Now, this is normally Trump's card at its lowest frequency, because obviously, Trump is a low frequency, buzzing in all of our ears like a gnat. Or, well, that would be a high frequency. Never mind. You guys know what I mean. So we got our first court card, our first and only. This is someone who is in politics. And it is, I believe, a male. So I was wrong. It's not MTG. Based on what we're seeing here in the cards, this is someone who I believe is, like I said, I think they have practiced law. And this makes a lot of sense, because that is actually one of the meanings for the King of Swords, is a lawyer. It literally describes a lawyer. So it's someone who's been in law, someone who's been in politics for a long time. This is someone who is, very intelligent, very well established, and very much no nonsense. And they do not like Trump. They do not like what is happening with the regime right now. So let's get a couple of cards for this person. Now that we've got the King of Swords on the table, what is this person's energy right now? Are they gearing up to take over by any chance? I don't know if we can even ask this question. This is kind of a jump. Okay, we're going to make a jump here. We'll see what we get. It may not be sufficient. It might be, may not be. May be hard to interpret. Sometimes if you don't follow a logical line of thinking with tarot questions, you start to lose track of how to get the answers. But we're going to try it. Ooh, a page of cups, sorry. Now, I feel like they're just watching very closely. I feel like this person is, it's like I can see someone watching and saying, I could do this job so much better. Here's what I would do right now in this situation. This is someone who's very engaged with politics, okay? This is not someone who doesn't know, as much as any other president. Obviously, everybody knows more than Trump. Wow, now we're getting bombarded with court cards. That's kind of interesting. I'm kind of getting the feeling, I don't even want to say this, but I'm kind of getting the feeling that this is a Democrat, or it's someone who is leaning left. I could be very much wrong about that. This could be someone who is an independent also. But with the King of Pentacles here, this is someone who is very wealthy, well established, and they got there not by dishonest means, okay? This person is someone who understands value, both monetarily speaking and, just as far as the issues at hand today, socially, politically. This person has a very good grasp on what's going on. And I think that they're just watching this whole situation play out with bated breath, because they know exactly how they would go about changing the course of things and fixing what Trump has destroyed. So this is really interesting. Let's get, I feel like we're so close. Let's get a couple more cards and then we'll move on to the next question. But I'm so interested in this. Let's get 3 more cards. I'm just going to throw down 3 cards here and see what we can get. More energy for the King of Swords. Make sure you guys can see that. Golly, we're getting a lot of court cards now. This is, ooh. Wow, interesting. So, not surprised to see this card pop up, because obviously the whole point of the designated survivor is, if something happens to the regime, they step up when no one else is left and they take over. And so I believe that's where this energy is coming in, with the Lovers and the King of Wands. I just feel like this person is so riled up. They are ready to go. So these are just our 3 bonus cards to give us a little bit more insight, and it's kind of reiterating that this person is ready for the end to come so that they can take over, because they can do a much better job than Donald Trump is doing right now. And, you know, better than the Republicans that are in control. They could really turn this ship around. I think this person has a lot of big ideas, strong opinions, would be a much better candidate than Trump. So, very interesting. All right, I'm going to clear this spread, and we're going to ask one more question along these lines. We're going to find out, are they going to take over at some point before this administration is set to leave? Here's the $1 million question real quick. We're going to do this one quick. 6 cards. What are the odds that the designated survivor will take over? We've got some cards that came out a minute ago. This is really interesting. This actually makes me want to break out a tarot book and try to find some of the most deep-rooted meanings, because very strange that we've got, what is that, 3 cards? Is it 3 that was in the first reading? So, Queen of Pentacles. As far as our question goes, how does it relate? I feel like this is someone who is biding their time. This is a card of speed. Knight of Wands is the rebel without a cause card. So there is, in fact, a lot of swiftness associated with this card. With this card, I kind of get the feeling by hook or by crook. Have you ever heard that old phrase? I think that they are really chomping at the bits to get into that position. This card kind of getting the same feeling for it. Very focused on taking over the administration. I normally wouldn't want to say definitively yes or no, but I feel like this person is really ready. They're ready to go. I don't know. Maybe we should have done this part with Lenormand. Maybe we'll revisit this issue. I don't think this is a yes or no either way of whether or not we will ever see them take over this administration. But I think that it is certainly telling us that this person is ready and willing, and they are hoping that they will be able to. So that's our answer. Okay, let's move on to the next question. I had a really strong feeling that MTG was a designated survivor. But if the cards are any indication, she's not. Because pretty strong male presence attached to, or energy attached to this whole thing. So, but one of my theories was that I think something that we're going to see in the future, and I think this is the only way we'll ever get a female president in this country, unfortunately, is we're going to see a situation where a female Republican runs against a female Democrat, and that'll be the only way that we ever get a female president. I think it will also be the lowest voter turnout that we've seen in like modern history, at least. And you may be asking, like, why am I bringing this up? Well, I filmed a video earlier. I don't know if I'm going to release it or not. It's a very personal video to me as far as, like, you know, predictions and stuff go. Maybe I'll write about it on Substack. I don't know. But it's been on my mind a lot lately. You know, the chances of us seeing a female president in our lifetimes. And I think that we're not ever going to get to that point unless we just somehow magically end up with a female Republican versus a female or a Democrat. And that was one of the reasons that I felt like maybe Marge was the survivor, because if she was, then come election time, there's a very good chance, you know, she could run against Kamala Harris, you know. And I really have a strong feeling that we're going to see that scenario at some point in the future. So I want to try to get just a few cards. We'll go over this quickly because it's just kind of a theory of mine, of something that I feel like we're going to encounter. And I've been right in the past a lot about my predictions. And I'm not talking about here on YouTube with tarot. I'm talking about over like the last 5 years. I've, discovered that I have a lot of insight on how things are going to play out politically, and I've been right quite a bit. So I want to we'll start off with 3 cards for what are the odds of us seeing, female versus female candidate during we'll just say the next election cycle, because anything beyond that will be too far away. We can't really, get too much energy from anything like that. So start off with a few cards here. And, I think at this point, if that does happen anytime soon, I think it will definitely be Kamala. I think she'll be one of the candidates. So, and I have this feeling that when she runs the next time, if she runs, she may likely be up against a female candidate. Which again ties into my theory that, the designated survivor was female. So, but of course Trump wouldn't have picked a woman. Of course he wouldn't. So with the 7 of Pentacles, looks like a situation where we are waiting on a situation to come to fruition. And the 10 of Swords, it's just not getting there. It's not happening. And the 3 of Pentacles kind of tells us a little bit about, kind of what I was talking about a minute ago, where we have this situation where people are just not willing to vote for a female. It's going to take more persuasion. It's going to take more time of kind of like putting this idea in front of people and defending it and explaining it. And it's crazy too, because plenty of other countries have had female leaders. And here we are in this country, never had one. Doesn't look like we ever will at this pace. I feel like that's a pretty strong no. We're not going to see, 2 female candidates go up against each other in the next election cycle. Let's just get like 1 or 2 more cards to go here. Kind of see if there's any more details we can see. Yeah, so I think instantly feeling like this is a Democratic man. I think tarot is now telling me something about the next election cycle, and it is going to, certainly the Democratic candidate will be male. So the primary candidate, whoever gets the nomination, will be male. And I think it's someone who is well liked. I feel like, I don't know why it's telling me this, because this is not what I asked, but I feel like this is someone who's well liked, who has, this is Gavin Newsom. I'm just going to say it. It's him. I don't know why, but I can see it. It's this card right here. This is Gavin Newsom energy for some reason to me. And this card, I think he'll be the candidate actually. So we won't see another female option for the next general election. I think it'll be Gavin. All right, let's move on to the next question. We've got so much to get through, and this video is so long already. I hope you guys are enjoying it. If you are, take a minute and click the like button. And while you do that, I'm going to clear the board and we're going to get to the next question. All right, our next question, we're getting closer to the $1 million question about whether or not Trump's going to be removed. But we're actually going to start, before we get to that one, with so the military, their reaction to the whole meeting thing in Quantico yesterday. And the ones who have come out and spoke with the press are not happy about what they heard, what they saw. They did not appreciate Trump and Hegseth and their baloney. So I want to know, just straight up, we're not even going to beat around the bush. Is the military gonna, as a whole or a majority, there's a difference, but are they going to turn on Trump? Oh, wow. A lot of cards jumping out here. So let's go ahead and switch over to the other camera. We got a card that jumped out here. Wow. Okay, interesting. Very interesting card combination for this question. I think they are burdened, severely burdened by duty. At this very moment, they know that they have obligations. I kind of get the feeling that they're not entirely 100% sure right now where to go from this. I feel like they're kind of, what is the phrase? It's not that they're laying low. How do I describe it? It's like they are not so much biding their time. They're giving themselves time to digest this nightmarish speech and the implication of what Hegseth and Trump said to them. They are not happy with it. I would say most likely this is also a good indicator that they're not happy with it, or a good confirmation, because this is not how you start off. Not the right cards to imply that they're pleased with anything. Now, this card makes me think of them like walking away from it and leaving it alone and just trying to overlook it. So it's not that they are turning on Trump, because we have the Lovers card here. They can't literally turn on him is the vibe I'm getting from this. They can't literally turn on him. But what they can do is just walk away from the scenario and pretend like it was just, the disaster that it was, and then not take any further action. With the 10 of Wands, I kind of get the feeling of them laughing and saying, yeah, we're not going to do that. Like, we're not even going to dignify this BS with a response. Now here we have with the King of Wands, this is a fiery energy of war and defense and fighting, and not, active aggression, but this is like a military type leader. And, okay, so Two of Cups, we've got, with the Two of Cups, this is referencing, once again, partnerships, loyalty, kind of getting the feeling like they know where their loyalty lies. Trump can't say anything to change their mind about that. Let's get one card. Kind of keep this going. I feel like the cards are really telling me quite a bit today. Oh, interesting. So Six of Cups, immediately going to reference history here. This is a throwback for them. To hear this type of talk is a throwback to everything they know about the past. Everything they know, not just about Donald Trump's past either, about the past, like the 1930s past. Okay, you guys catch my drift. They know better. So again, to reiterate, it's not that they're turning on him, it's that they are not going to feed into his BS. So I think, so with the Five of Cups, there is a sense of grief for the past and for what is in motion right now. I think this is probably them looking at the situation and saying, we don't know where this is going to go, but we don't, like, our hands are tied to an extent. There's nothing we can do to stop this. He's going to destroy our country, and we can't really act on that. So unfortunately, that's kind of crossing into my next question, and it's already kind of answering, because this whole thing with like court-martialing and stuff, there's a lot of people online talking about nowadays, like, oh, why doesn't the military go in and drag Trump out by his ears and, kick him out of office? And it's like, well, it's not how it works. Our system don't work that way. And then some people have come out and said, oh, look, actually, there is a secret way that this could happen. And there's just a lot of debate and argument about all of this. And it seems like nobody really knows the truth. A lot of people seem to think that because of, enemies, foreign and domestic, that they are, regardless, obligated to do something, but that may not actually be the truth. So we've got the Four of Cups here and the Ten of Cups. Now, these two cards together are in direct contrast from each other, which is really interesting. The Four of Cups with not being happy about a situation or finding great displeasure in what you are basically stuck with in the moment. That's a perfect description of how we all feel about Donald Trump right now. The Ten of Cups, you guys know, a lot of times I like to tell you the little story about how with the Ten of Cups, everything looks peachy and wonderful. But the truth is that sometimes just when things are, going perfect and you have reached your ultimate goal, it means, because you're at the end of the cycle, because it's a 10, it means that it's time for disruption. So, not sure what we're getting here with these two cards. I mean, I am, but I'm not. Let's get one more card to go in the center with this one, and then we will move on to the next question. This video is going to be so long. I hope you guys like it. Again, if you haven't, hit the like button and subscribe. Stick around. So we've got the Ace of Cups. I think the first thing that comes to mind, especially seeing these cards now kind of lining up together, is there is a great deal of grief amongst the military for the state of our country right now and the state of everything because of Donald Trump. But I think that they feel confident in knowing that whatever is in motion right now, it will eventually end. It will come to an end someday. I know it doesn't feel like it. All of this stuff will end. And we will be able to get back to a place where things are better, where we're not as divided and frustrated and just kind of like overloaded with, whatever. And then with the emotions here attached to the Ace of Cups, kind of like this feeling where people really have got to find their soul again. And it's just got to play out. Like, this to me feels like the strongest energy card right here, right now, because it's just something that's got to play out. And I think that that's probably their take on it is, wait and see how it goes. But as far as them turning on the American people, I am shocked and delighted to be able to say that I now feel confident that that's never going to happen. Nice try, Trump and Hegseth. You epic failed again. I think you guys just made clowns out of yourself. Again, the military is not going to side with Trump. I feel confident in that, and I'm very happy about that. So, all right, let's move on to the next question. All right, here's a scary one. I was talking about at the beginning of the video that threat Trump made that was... I'm sure the Republicans or the MAGAs would be like, yeah, it was a joke. Why can't you take a joke? I don't feel like that was a joke to tell. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about. I don't feel like it was a joke that Donald Trump said, if you guys want to leave the room, you can, but there goes your job. I don't think that was a joke. I know a lot of people are going to be like, why can't the left take a joke? That wasn't a joke. That's not funny. No one's laughing. In fact, I have heard, though I have not verified this myself, I've heard that Fox News, I believe it was, put canned laughter and canned applause in over the footage. Oh, wow. Okay, we're gonna go with that since I've already got my question in mind here. So we want to try to get an answer for whether or not Trump really will make moves, at least even just threats. You know how he he comes on like in front of his desk or like behind his desk and he's like, I'm going to do this because you did this to me, blah, blah, blah. Is he going to do that with the military? Is he going to try to fire any of these military generals for speaking out against him? Or, you know, for anything else, for any other reason? Because I have a feeling that he probably will. He'll at least pretend like he's going to. You know how he is. You know what I'm talking about when he comes on and he starts running his mouth and he gets on Truth Social and starts running his mouth and Truth Central. Truth Central. Interesting that we have got so many cups coming up again. 6 cups, 4 cups, the Hermit. Let's keep going. Let's get a few more cards here for context. Is he going to try to take their jobs or punish them for dissenting? Oh, boy, I hate when she shows up sometimes. I know immediately that the 9 of Pentacles is here to tell us that the generals, this is for them, this is representing their energy. The generals are very comfortable and safe and stable. It would be very hard for him to do anything. That's not to say that he won't try, but it would be very hard for him to take their jobs or strip them of their titles. With the Hermit here, let's see, the Hermit and the 9 of Pentacles together. I feel like my brain is a little bit too tired for combinations right now. I'm going to say... Okay, bear with me on this. There are a handful of cards in the deck, in, you know, the tarot. And I'm not going to tell you what they all are, because this is just my own, the way that I read tarot. There are a handful of cards that are like meta cards. What I mean by meta cards is that when they come out in a reading, a lot of times, I don't think that they are part of the answer. They are appearing because they're telling me that I don't know enough about what I'm asking, or that I haven't asked the right question. These are 2 of those cards. Okay, so I think the answer that I'm getting right here is mostly telling me, Sarah, you're not asking the right question. There's a better question to ask in this situation, that there is a more, you know, well-pronounced answer for. I have no idea right at this moment what that question would be, because it's late, I'm tired. We'll revisit this reading. Trust me. We'll do we'll do another one, because there will be developments on this. I guarantee it. I have that feeling. We do have the Tower card here. I'm going to say that yes, Donald Trump is, at the very least, he is going to come out and try to threaten some of the generals and leaders that were at that meeting. As soon as he gets wind that some of them have spoken out against him, he's going to try to start something, you know, something to flex his power, exert dominance, to try to put himself above the strongest leaders in this country. He's definitely going to do that. Absolutely. He's going to be incredibly unhappy with the fact that they did not receive him the way that he wanted to be received, and they are going to be incredibly unbothered by the fact that he has a problem with them. But there are 2 cards here telling me that I'm not asking the right question. So I can't 100% answer this question, but we'll revisit it when my mind and everything is a little more fresh at a later date. I'm a little overloaded this evening, and we're trying to get through a big video here. So, but we'll come back to it. All right, I'm going to clear this spread, and we're going to get to, I believe it's time for the $1 million question, the question about the 25th Amendment. Pritzker came out this morning and stated that he believes Donald Trump should be removed by way of the 25th Amendment. I was astounded that he said that, because yesterday I was going to try to film a video, because I just had this feeling. I kept thinking the 25th Amendment, Trump's going to get removed. This is how it ends. How far does this 25th Amendment call go? I'm going to start off. Oh, okay. We got 3 cards jumping out. All right. I feel like that's probably Pritzker right there. Straighten this out a little bit. What else we got? Ooh, interesting. 2 of Swords. Page of Swords. So we've got 2 cards right here that talk about hyper-focusing on a situation or fixating on a situation, trying to find the means, trying to find a way. Choices. Well, let's get a few more cards and see what else we can get. Let's say for the 2 of Swords, what is the choice? Can we get 2 cards, one for the left, one for the right, for the choice? And we will just stick them right here. Choice 1. If this is the Tower card, I'm going to scream. The Tower cards came out so many times. That would be wild. Okay, so looks like we're talking about a choice of peace and dignity versus a choice of strength and leadership. All right, Pritzker's energy. How far is this going to go? How far will the call for the 25th Amendment make it? Emotions. Okay, so the one big cup that the Knight of Cups is carrying is right here beneath him. Okay, this cup is right beneath him. I'm feeling a lot of complex feelings about this. I'm not exactly sure what it means in blatant terms, but the one thing that I keep coming to mind is this cup overflowing into a bigger cup. So that's got me to thinking that I'm thinking about Trump and his behavior and people's reactions and everybody's intentions. If they were all little like tributaries, they're running into one big main river. Something is becoming increasingly unstable as far as Trump's ability to maintain office. Okay, he is really, really pushing it. I believe this is, the cup is full. The Knight of Cups, his cup is full, and it has filled up so many times that it has filled up this cup in the Ace of Cups. There is more than enough for Donald Trump to be impeached on right now. Way more than enough. Because this cup has filled up so many times that it's just, there's no place else for the water to go. Okay, I know that was a little bit probably like convoluted or whatever, but that's what I'm feeling in regard to this. So I'm going to pull a couple more cards. So here we have celebration and fear. So this scenario is stuck in between celebration and fear, worry for the future. You know, all day I've been getting the 5 of Cups, and here this card is again. It jumped out. Cups overflowing. There's too much. There's so much. It's like we have had enough. It is officially enough. Trump has to go. And I think that all these cups filling up, you know, cups. Everybody's tired of him. Everybody's ready for him to go. This cannot go on much longer. I don't see a whole lot of people defending Donald Trump. At some point, it's just too much, and everybody is going to throw in the towel and just be done with all this. You know what I mean? Like, it's to that point. So now we need to know, what are the chances, or, you know, what is the energy around Donald Trump actually being removed through the 25th Amendment right now? Who's on board? What is their strategy? How does this go? We need to know that Donald Trump is going to be removed through the 25th Amendment, because that is the only logical scenario at this point. So let's go ahead and get some cards. All right, so I'm going to scoot these up just a little bit. Here we have the King of Pentacles again, starting to wonder if this is here to represent Pritzker, possibly. A little bit of his energy here coming in. Let me just move my camera up a little bit more. Okay, there we go. We need to know about removal. Feeling like the Page of Wands here. For some reason, as soon as I laid that card down, I saw Mike Johnson's face in my mind. Jump scare. But having said that, it would make some sense. Pritzker, Johnson, some type of partnership. I'm not saying that there is one. I'm just saying that this is what is popping into my head. What is this partnership? We need a couple of cards. Here's that card again. This is crazy. I keep getting the same cards today over and over and over. So I wonder, does anybody know if Pritzker and Mike Johnson have some type of connection from the past? Like, did they go to school together or something? Because this is getting kind of weird. So we've got a reference to the past. What else? To go along. Oh, wow. Same cards. Same cards all over again. This is interesting. Four of Cups, obviously displeasure. Obviously unhappiness. Wow. Five of Cups. You guys, I really think that Tarot is saying, yes, it is time for Trump to be removed. I think it's going to happen. I think it very well could happen. What stands in the way, though? Is there anything standing in the way? Let's get 3 cards to kind of signify if there's anything that might stop this process from happening. Because based on what we're seeing here, there's a very good chance Donald Trump's going to get removed. Wow. Okay. So what's in the way? The truth. Somebody's going to have to come forward and tell the truth. There's somebody involved in this situation, probably Mike Johnson, who knows something. It's the Epstein files. Just connected in my head. This is the Epstein files. This is a reference to Ghislaine and the women. Guys, I've told you this from the very beginning. The Epstein files is the only thing that has the momentum and the power to take him out. And that's what it is. Johnson's got to tell the truth. He's got to step up to the plate. He's got to take responsibility for what has happened. He's got to stop waiting for a day that's never going to come. And he thinks that Trump is his ticket to something better somewhere else. I don't know what that could be, if it's just political infamy, if it's historical infamy, like whatever it is that Johnson wants, he's got to get to the point where he realizes that it's not coming. But Ghislaine Maxwell has to be, the Maxwell situation with her and the, bringing the victims in, he's got to let these victims talk. He's got to let them speak their truth. And that is what brings an end to Donald Trump. That's it. That is, and yes, I do believe that the 25th Amendment could very well be deployed in this situation. This is what ends Trump's presidency. This is it. I feel very confident saying this, and I've never said this before on the channel. I've never before done a reading where I indicated that I firmly believe Trump's time is up in office, but I do now with these particular cards consistently coming out, like the card up here for the past. This is Jeffrey Epstein. We've got to get those Epstein files out. As soon as those things comes out, that's when this whole nightmare ends. So, all right, I'm way too excited about this. I am so pumped with energy right now because of this. I have never pulled cards like this before, and you guys have watched this whole time. I've been pulling the same cards over and over and over. It's like the cards were trying to tell me something that I wasn't asking. And right there it is. Epstein, all these Epstein references. That's what brings Donald Trump's presidency to an end. We got to get those files, folks. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope you watched the whole video up until this point. If you watched the whole thing, leave me a little magical emoji in the comments and I'll know that you saw the whole video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I love reading your guys' thoughts about things. And if you are new here and you enjoy political divination, hit the subscribe, stick around, become part of the community. We would love to have you. And guys, until the next video, have a great rest of your week and I will see you later.